Support Russell Talk. Become a sexual wank pheasant today.
WTF! WTF!
Hello, I'm Ross from Cultaholic.com. You are my sexual wank pheasants, and we kick things off with a disclaimer. I did not watch the pre-show because when it turns out you're doing predictions and or reactions with Adam Pacitti, he likes to take the guy he's doing it with for some weird little ritual, which consists of a trip to church and a pedicure. Don't ask, but I did see that Nissan Micra of a professional wrestler, Kalisto. He's small, he's ugly, he's naff. I did see him flopping around like a trout on toot. Anyway, let's get cracking with the nag and hear all the WTF moments from WWE Survivor Series 2017. Kevin Dunn kicking off the night with a bang, only comparable to the feeling when your dentist gets that numbing injection thing and jams up in your gums, when he made the screen for Survivor Series a life-size replica of the size of one of his teeth. Only, however, if you're watching on a 72-inch screen. All plans are great, I didn't bloody think so. Just look at how these predictions/reactions turned out for Adam Pacitti, and also see watermelon Oreos, which taste like the flabber skin underneath Viscera's tit after he died. Tea time. And we kick things off with Booker T, who claimed that it takes something like Survivor Series for the Shield to come back together, reunite and represent. And I'm just asking one thing: how can that be when the Shield were already a thing before Survivor Series rolled around? Next, Booker will be telling us that Christmas trees only produce oxygen because Christmas is coming. There was a sign in the crowd that claims Roman is a wanker, but his attire suggested anything but. As I explained last week, half and half of anything, yes, even for you, the Velveteen Dream, is for wankers. So that means that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are wearing wankers gear designed only for wankers, which means that they are indeed wankers. Wankers, wankers. Wanky wank wank. Or is it indeed Roman Reigns who is actually the wanker because he hasn't got his team attire on like his two teammates? For the love of Christ, let's just call them all wankers. Wanker, wanker, wanker. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Next up, we have the entire commentary team, which for last night had more people on than your mom has secret boyfriends. Remember, don't tell your dad about him because she doesn't know who the father is. All claiming that the Shield between them have had 24 reigns, which quite frankly is not true. As we all know, the New Day have had 24 reigns between them, mostly because of Kofi Kingston. And despite Corey Graves' best efforts to cover up this mistake later on in the match, the Shield have only had 16 reigns between them, and that includes Seth Rollins' NXT Championship reign. Next, you'll be telling us they've all completed Football Manager, and they've got 15-inch tea time. This time we have Booker T coming out with the following quote: "This is what Survivor Series was all about," when he's talking about a six-man tag, a non-elimination six-man tag. Tea time. Seconds into the entire show and Booker T is already telling us that there's not going to be a lot of entertainment, but there will be a lot of fighting. Oh, well, if that's the case, Booker might as well stop watching now, cancel with WWE networks, and put the company that can no longer afford pyro into deeper financial peril. Hey, who knows? If enough of us do that, Booker, you might lose your job. Don't leave me like John did. Tea time. Now Booker's claiming there's a big shot from the big guy. I mean, bugger me, I didn't realise Ryback was back in WWE. I guess we all have to empathise here with Booker, because in Booker's vernacular, and Booker's vernacular alone, a guy and a dog is exactly the same thing, even though clearly only one of them is hairy all over, barks and pisses on the carpet, and that's just your dar on a Saturday night. Next up, we have the moment that Big E told Roman Reigns to suck on that, which prompted Byron Saxton to ask us what Big E's focuses are in this match. I'll tell you, Byron, to put it bluntly and cover your ears, children, Big E wants Roman Reigns to slobber all over his big ending. Just watch the start of Dodgeball and you'll get the right idea. Tea time. I'm already bored of tea time. Bloody hell, mother, I'm full. But next up, we have Booker claiming that the New Day were bending the rules during their lengthy unicorn stampede on Dean Ambrose's eyes, which they weren't, of course. And after another sustained period where they were beating up Deanie Weenie with the receiver, Booker claimed the New Day were running out of ideas, which of course they weren't as well, which means it must have been opposite day for Booker T, who is of course a young, bold, great commentator. Stephanie McMahon putting over things that aren't her? Well, you need to grab 2 of each animal and head for the bastard border. The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh back. Made a grave mistake, Corey. You're talking about our captain's hat in relation to Alicia Fox. What about your captain, of course, Becky Lynch, wearing goggles indoors? Corey Graves, a representative for both SmackDown and Raw at this event, of course, being as impartial as Anthony Marshall at a Manchester derby. Carmella there looking like she's been sucking on Lars Sullivan's earwax because Booker T would have told her it would give her more strength. The moral of this story is never trust a Booker T. Now, I don't care if Bayley eliminated Becky Lynch in what is somewhat of a WTF moment on its lonesome, but a few moments earlier, Stephanie McMahon clearly told Bayley no more hugging, yet a few minutes later she's out there doing that to Alicia Fox. I can't wait to tune into Raw tonight to see a 10-minute destruction of the character of Bayley while Stephanie McMahon just puts herself over for no good reason. It's my favourite part of Raw. It's the reason I watch every week. Eat my ass, River Monsters. Tea time. Booker T this time pulling memes out of his arse that have been up there since 2011 when he claimed that Sasha Banks has tiger blood and that all she's about is winning. Funnily enough, the year that Booker T came back to WWE was 2011. What a sad, brilliant year. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty women. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty women. Vincent Kennedy McMahon likes big sweaty women just as much as like big sweaty men. It's fitting that the referee that counted out Alicia Fox is called John Cone because in that moment he proved himself to be a nutter ice cream, a bit of a melt, because as we all saw, because we have two working eyes, Alicia Fox's shoulder was clearly in the bloody cheap seats. It's off the mat. This time we have Tom Phillips face fornicating yet another line on commentary when he claimed it was two superstars apiece in the ring, even though it was clearly 3-on-2 in SmackDown's favour. It appears that the blood that goes all the way down there during a flight was still down there since he hadn't long got off the plane when he landed in Houston. Dirty bastard. Now I have a problem with Natalya when she was in a submission hold and all like, hey you guys, help me. Tamina, bless her cotton socks, did so, but when Tamina was in a submission hold, Natalya just stood there on the apron and did nothing. What's the crap with that? Like, it's all take and they give with old sloth, isn't it? Just to clarify, I call Natalya sloth because of the yeah she does, not because she looks like sloth, as if I have to explain that. 2017. Again, Stephanie McMahon having a go at somebody else, for nepotism is drowning in more irony than the Manson family going on family fortunes and winning the bastard car after murdering the other family. Why does Baron Corbin need sunglasses? Surely it's us that need the sunglasses during his entrance to protect us from the reflections that are coming off his baldy head, Adam Pacitti. Imagine being this guy here. You've paid hundreds of dollars for your Macho Man attire. You've paid hundreds of more dollars for your tickets in the second row. You turn up to the arena in Houston and the actual mega powers are sat in front of you. What are the bloody chances, eh? People do have friends, said Michael Cole, who of course has no pissing friends whatsoever, apart from John Bradshaw Layfield, who is his life and soul partner. They have 2 kids. They live in a rundown semi-detached household. They have a single Well, it's nice to see that Bayley has something to fall back on when WWE absolutely murder her character once and for all. How does she know so much about bloody engagement rings, eh? And it's also nice to see that me in the future will be able to grow some stubble and get engaged to a woman called Valerie. Tea time. Booker this time to Corey Graves. Have you ever won any tag team titles? No. He has, like Booker, and it was with War Geordie Nevin. Didn't he forget about it, you bloody knacker? I don't know about you, but I counted to 3 in a bit before Cesaro pulled Sheamus away from there. I can only think of one reason why that referee isn't counting that. Probably is because he can't, which of course is nothing to laugh at, but it's just a funny thing not be able to do when you're a referee in a wrestling ring. Illiteracy! That's numbers, isn't it? Innumeracy! WWE mentioning a super kick party live on air is surely one more slap to the tits than a young buck should have to take. Sue Byron Saxton, lads. Sue him hard. Right up the arse. Tea time. This time we have Booker T claiming that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte were fighting into the championship rounds of their match, rounds 10, 11, 12, even though we were clearly under 10 minutes into their action and wrestling match. It's clear for all to see that that man just starts a sentence, praise to the Lord Jesus above, that it finds where it's going to go. That's right, Booker T is the Michael Scott of wrestling commentary, and that is a bigger besmirchment of Michael Scott's name that has ever been besmirched. Michael Cole saying that Charlotte will never quit and never back down because it's in her DNA is like me saying that Jason Jordan is an African American because of Kurt Angle's DNA. It's just not true, is it? Both of those qualities for those two people come from their mothers. Their dads have nothing to do with what they were saying on air. When you've got bad ribs, it's always smart to do a moonsault off the top rope onto the floor and then hit your finisher, which involves a lovely, lovely, lovely bridge. I love Charlotte. I think she's fantastic. But she didn't bloody think that through, did she? Unless, of course, it's in her DNA and her spine is actually a Slinky because her mum is Slinky the dog of Toy Story. In fact, we've all seen Ric Flair's cock. It bends to the left. Has anyone seen his midsection? That could be a Slinky too. The possibilities are endless. You've just got to sit back and laugh at Michael Cole bringing up the fact that this is the longest world title reign in WWE for 4 years when Brock Lesnar has defended the belt 3 times. He's only held the belt for so long because he's got Vince McMahon's bowels in a little glass case in his shed, and while he just sits on his arse counting the millions and millions of damn zeros. Bell to Bella Brock Lesnar singles match in 2017 went 16 minutes. Now then, bloody hell, more of those please, Brock, you lazy bastard. But the fact that the match went that long in the first place means that you need to grab 2 more animals. There could be your grandpa and your grandma for all I care and head for that bastard border. The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh, back. Security? Security could be a terrorist. Unlikely, but you know. Tea time. This time, God, how many more times they're going to be? We have Booker T saying the SmackDown commentary team are all over the place. That's Booker T saying another commentary team are all over the place. Looking at Finn walking down the ramp there, I thought myself, why didn't Kurt Angle pick Demon Finn? Because Demon Finn is a lot better than normal Finn, even though Demon Finn does exactly the same things that normal Finn does in the wrestling ring. He's missed the trick there, hasn't he? No, he hasn't. If Kurt picked Demon Finn, he wouldn't have lost a fall. He just put Demon Finn at the start and he'd just do all Finn Balor's moves and that'd be it. What a mark Triple H is, eh? Made a grave mistake, Corey. And this time, quite simply, we have Corey Graves telling Tom Phillips to shut up, even though it was Byron Saxton who gave the most cringe-worthy hallelujah since Alexandra Burke murdered that absolute anthem way back in the day. No, he's not, you freak. You're gonna die alone. Tea time. This time we have Booker T saying that if you think Shinsuke Nakamura's ugly now, wait until Braun Strowman gets his hands on him. No, Booker, I don't think Shinsuke Nakamura's ugly. I just think he's Japanese, you racist bastard. I'll rip your head off, Braun said. Now steady on, Braun. People are being fired for doing less, saying less, and doing less. Michael Cole calling Triple H the wife of Stephanie McMahon is completely fine. The fact that he corrected himself to say the husband of Stephanie McMahon is the WTF moment. It's clear for all to see that Stephanie took Triple H's balls and added them to her giant lady balls to make her giant lady balls all the more powerful. Don't believe me? Just go onto YouTube and watch that video where it just proves to us all that Triple H puts up with Stephanie like Chandler puts up with Joey. It's the Spider-Man punting at Spider-Man meme come to life. Yes, I know I said meme. Seconds before this, you will have heard Robert Roode shout at Triple H, reverse spinebuster, at a similar decibel to this. God damn it, Monster ain't got no tree fitting. And for the first time ever, it's Angle versus Roode, they said. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Now, this isn't a tea time moment because it's Booker T doing something inadvertently quite good. He said that this here is a fresh Finn Bálor, which sort of means, if you catch me drift, that this here is a fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Prince Devitt, Air is an island. Now, Adam particularly laughed at me when I predicted that it would be nice to see a couple of Canadians 20 years on from that there screw job, of course, screw McMahon in the main event of Survivor Series. And guess what happened? Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who earlier appeared on the pre-show, did just that. What a surprise. WTF. Egg on Adam Pacienti's face and nothing on the top. Kurt Angle's been shopping with MVP. What's that kinky little Power Ranger zip-up thing about, you kinky little slag? Triple H turning on Kurt Angle and then turning on Shane McMahon just is prime Triple H and definitely shows that he has a split personality disorder. In NXT, he's the Princess Diana of wrestling. He can do no wrong, but when he's on the main roster, he's an absolute bastard, and last night just showcased that to the hilt. Buries Kurt Angle, WrestleMania feud setup, buries Shane McMahon, makes for an awkward Christmas dinner, makes Braun Strowman look like a bit of an idiot, burials all round, shovels all round, Triple H's penis is definitely an innie. A little nipple. Now Greg Hamilton, who of course is amazing at what he does, announcing Braun Strowman and Triple H as the sole survivors would only make sense if Triple H were to hop inside Braun and control him like a robot like Plankton does in the SpongeBob movie. To become one Spice Girl Ting. Soul means one, there's two of them, it doesn't make sense, but at least this happened. And that's it for your WTF Moments for Survivor Series 2017. 10 tea times. I'm very full, and 50 of them all in all. Now, do not forget you can follow me on Twitter at RossOnWrestling. You can pledge to our Patreon by going over to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Anything you can give is very much appreciated. But most importantly, don't forget to join us.